This afternoon, he's in front by 4. Brief Truce is coming fast, but he's coming too late. Lure does it in front running style. He won by 3. Paradise Creek second, followed by Brief Truce. They couldn't get him. He just laid down fantastic fractions. And look at this time. He destroyed the track record. 1 minute 32 and 4/5 seconds. What an effort by Lure. Lure looking for a repeat win in the mile. The leader a length and a half with a furlong from the line. Ski Paradise is resurgent again. 4 Stars All-Star. Big Stone is flattened out, and they're coming down to the line. And it will be Lure once again, overcoming trouble of the leaders. Cherokee Rung and Soviet Problem head-to-head with a furlong to determine the best. Lock Song is out of it. Cardmania putting in his late run. So is Harlan is there. And Chimes Band is coming on fast. Soviet Problem digging down deep. Cherokee Run surging. Cherokee Run surges to win it in the last stride. Nailing Soviet Problem on the line. One more bold challenge from Taken In, who surges past Paradise Creek as they come down to the line. Hot Tooth is coming late, 50 yards from the line. Taken In front. Hot Tooth, Paradise Creek third today. It is Taken In who scores in the mile-and-a-half turf. Turns for home on Unbridled Song, taking the lead as the field turns for home. On the outside, Hennessy and those two will come down to the final furlong together. Hennessy in a full-out drive. Unbridled Song giving his all toward the rail. Farther back, Honor and Glory is now running in third. Editor's note is fourth. Unbridled Song and Hennessy in a duel down to the line. Unbridled Song, Hennessy, here's the wire. And it is Unbridled Song who wins by a head. A hard-fought head it was over Hennessy this afternoon in the juvenile. Inside information, turning it into a runaway. Mike Smith asked her for a run, and in an instant, the response was devastating. Inside information. Oh, look at this! A colossal victory! And Heavenly Prize, her stablemate, will be second. Inside information won by a dozen lengths. Heavenly Prize came on to be second, and Lakeway was third. Oh my, as Dick Edberg would say, what a performance this afternoon by Inside Information. Time it is Skip Away in command of the Classic as they turn for home. A 4.5 length lead. Deputy Commander is in a complete full-out drive, but he's a non-threatening second. Whiskey Wisdom is third. Dowdy is fourth. The others left in the powerful wake of an awesome performance in the Classic. It is Skip Away who crushed the opposition today. He wins by 5 1/2 lengths, and the final time was 1:15 flat. And an absolutely jubilant Mike Smith aboard the winners. Gina comes through on the inside with a bold move, and it is Gina in front at the 8th pole. Sharp Cat now running in second. Farther back is Cena, and they're coming down to the finish, and it will be Gina, the upset winner. Gina wins here by 2, defeating Sharp Cat, and farther back, finishing third, was the stablemate of the winner.
3, Vindication, bull market toward the inside, followed by Cockwain. Hold That Tiger is fourth. They're down to the final 16. It's still Baffert, 1, 2, 3. Vindication, Cockwain moves to second, bull market third. Hold That Tiger is fourth, and it is a sweep here for Bob Baffert, 1-2 under the line. Vindication will go on to be the juvenile champion. For Azeri, who comes to the top of the stretch with the lead a length and a half. Bailey is now asking a lot more from Imperial Gesture, but she is still second as the field turns for home. Take Charge Laley is toiling on the inside. Vardamiga still 6 lengths behind. Mandy's Gold Star, 1 furlong to go. Azeri still there, and she's pulling away. Azeri by 3, and now by 4. She has left Imperial Gesture reeling, and Vardamiga too much, way too late to get to the distant champion.
And Stardom
Stardom Bound, Grey on the extreme outside, comes to tackle the leaders. Can she keep up this amazing run? Stardom Bound comes to strike the front as they turn for home. Sia Silk tries to battle on the inside. Dream Empress is coming home lately, but it's all Stardom Bound now. Sky Diva, Dream Empress chasing gamely. Stardom Bound made that huge move. Dream Empress going to stretch it to the wire, but no. Stardom Bound is just plain too good. And Stardom Bound and Mike Smith have won it in. Here comes Zenyatta. She's caught about 5 wide, but she's coming gamely. Hysterical Lady gets the lead to Santa Teresita. Grandstand side, Zenyatta. She knows she's in a race today, but just look at her. Zenyatta around the outside now strikes the front. And it's Zenyatta coming away. Music Note running on gamely. Cocoa Beach down at the rail. Zenyatta's going to come home to score. Undoubtedly now, a living legend. Zenyatta, 9 for 9, wins it again. To make up Zenyatta, if she wins this, she'll be a super horse. She's starting to pick them off, though. Zenyatta going to hook to the outside. Meanwhile, it's Colonel John. Songbird in the red cap. And Zenyatta's come to the outside. Zenyatta coming flying on the grandstand side. Ponte on the inside. Songbird is right there. This is unbelievable. Zenyatta, what a performance. One we'll never forget. Looked impossible, but it is Zenyatta, still unbeaten under Mike Smith. Ponte second, Songbird, and then Richard's Kid. What a dramatic performance. One of the most sensational ever. Zenyatta wins the Breeders' Cup. Now coming. Here's Amazombi coming with his run as well. On the outside, A Priority's running a huge one. They are homeward bound, and Force Freeze desperate to hang on, but Amazombi's wearing him down. Amazombi, Force Freeze have it to themselves with a 16th to go. Force Freeze is shifting out, but Amazombi's got him. And from here on in, it's just a matter of how far Amazombi and Mike Smith have won the Ascension Jet Breeders' Cup Sprint. First in the classic, Game On Dude. So you think gets a run on the inside. Uncle Mo's right there to honour and serve in the red cap on the outside. Stay thirsty. Hambrader Brace tries to get involved late, but Game On Dude is just battling them all off. Game On Dude has the lead. Here's Drosselmeyer out of the clouds. Drosselmeyer from nowhere, and Drosselmeyer and Mike Smith have beaten Chantel Sutherland on Game On Dude. Ruler on Ice finishes third, and Hambrader Grace was fourth. What a finish to the classic. It looked like Game On Dude have it, but Mike Smith had other ideas.
And they're into the stretch, and it's Royal Delta digging down for all she has, including the outs, running a huge one. My Miss Aurelia's between those two in with a late shot. Can Royal Delta hold on? My Miss Aurelia is trying to get her late. Royal Delta, My Miss Aurelia, here is a champion again. Royal Delta has won the Breeders' Cup Ladies Classic.
Gray, they come for home. Star Spangled Banner tries to keep them at bay. Renee's got zip. Great Mills coming strongly. Great Mills now. Renee's got zip. Down the outside, here's Unbridled's Note. Unbridled's Note in the gold cap is coming flying as well. And Misdirection. Misdirection, Unbridled's Note. Misdirection to win it. And Misdirection came storming home to win it. Misdirection, Unbridled's Note. Renee's got zip. Finished third, and there's a blanket photo for fourth.
Fighting on hard with a furlong to run. Sun's out, guns out between blue skies and rainbows. Here comes London Bridge on the far outside. He just kicked it in. And London Bridge comes from Europe to win the marathon over blue skies and rainbows. Then Worldly, followed by a photo between Indian Jones and Sun's out, guns out.
His 18th lifetime Breeders' Cup victory, the all-time leader, Mike Smith. London Bridge in the $500,000 marathon.
On the outside, they're into the stretch. Bobby's Kitten and Giovanni Baldini and a battle at the gate pole. Bobby's Kitten digs in. Giovanni Baldini, Outstrip is closing on the far outside. Giovanni Baldini and Outstrip, the two Europeans. Here's Outstrip to win it over Giovanni Baldini. Then Bobby's Kitten and Bonaccord and Mike Smith did it again. And touchdown. Misdirection comes with her run on the outside. Then it's Spring to the Sky. Renee's got zip is in front. Tight end touchdown. Misdirection. And she's closing in with powerful strides on the far outside. Here comes Misdirection. On the inside, Renee's got zip. Tight end touchdown between them. Here's the finish. Misdirection has won it again. It is dead time. a second between Tight End Touchdown and Renee's Got Sick. And then came on Bridal's Note. One more win for Misdirection and 20 wins in the Breeders' Cup for Mike Smith. At the top of the stretch, Stone-tastic off the turn in front. Judy the Beauty is closing on the outside. And in the center of the track, Better Lucky is coming too. Judy the Beauty has taken the lead. Better Lucky on the far outside is charging after her. Here's Better Lucky. Judy the Beauty. Judy the Beauty holds on. Better Lucky. Songbird has gone 3/4 in 1:11-2 and turns for home in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies in the clear. And then it's Rachel's Valentina, followed by Nickname on the outside. There's a furlong to run, and Songbird is going strong. Rachel's Valentina, Nickname and Dothraki Queen, no threat to an undefeated champion filly in Songbird. She did it with ease. And now Tamar Coos swings up on the outside, and suddenly Dortmund's in trouble, and Gun Runner's in front at the top of the stretch. Gun Runner to the front. Tamar Coos, Dortmund tries to battle on. 1 furlong to run. Gun Runner, Tamar Coos on the outside. Tamar Coos has taken the lead, and Tamar Coos will win it going away. And then it was Gun Runner. Wide as they come to the top of the stretch. Paula's Silver Lining and Finest City in their 1-2 now. These two arrive at the gate pole. Wavell Avenue trying to win it again is there on the outside. Then it's By the Moon. Terrace Tango not doing enough. Here comes Wavell Avenue on the outside of Finest City, and it's down to these two. Finest City digs in. Wavell Avenue can't get by. Mike Smith does it with Finest City. Wavell Avenue was second, and then came Paula's Silver Lining and Terrace Tango in the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint lead. And Mike Smith lets Arrowgate loose, and here he comes. He's going to try to make a race of it with a 1/4 mile to run. And they're into the stretch, and California Chrome comes roaring home with Arrowgate coming after him on the outside. A furlong to run. California Chrome put to the test. Arrowgate full out. Can he stick with him? California Chrome. Arrowgate still coming. California Chrome. Arrowgate steals the show in the Breeders' Cup Classic. He has defeated California Chrome under Mike Smith in his 25th Breeders' Cup score. In front, Caledonia Road comes on. Piedi Bianchi trying to weave through traffic, swings to the outside. Alluring Star. Here's Caledonia Road running on by. Blonde Bomber from the back of the pack comes late. Caledonia Road and Mr. Breeders' Cup Mike Smith have done it over Alluring Star and Blonde Bomber in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. Barossa, Corniche coming to the top of the stretch with the lead in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, and Giant Game is closing on the outside. Now moving up right alongside of Corniche as they come to the final furlong. Corniche with something left. Giant Game off the rail. Papa Cap trying to split those two, but it's Corniche. He's just too good. Corniche wins the Breeders' Cup Juvenile.
How cool is that? Hey, everybody, Red Brothers here on the Future Stars forecast on a 2-year-old Tuesday. Sorry, we had some technical issues. That's why the view looks a little dark here. I don't have my regular lighting system up because I had to jump on a different computer. But we've got the brightest star I could bring you here. The winningest jockey in Breeders' Cup history, Mike Smith. Hall of Famer Mike Smith, inducted in 2003, and look at all you've done from then.
Yeah, it's been amazing, man. Going back, just watching that, brought back some wonderful memories. I tell you, I've been very, very blessed in my career period, but especially in Breeders' Cups. For whatever reason, I don't know what it is, but the Breeders' Cup days just bring out something in me that I can't seem to find on other days. But for some reason, on those days, it comes out.
No, they call you Big Money Mike for a reason. You don't ever seem to let the pressure get to you. And just watching that montage back, going back to Lure with the first Breeders' Cup victory, it's really remarkable. You've ridden all types, and it doesn't matter if you're going short, going long, grass, dirt. We saw a Breeders' Cup marathon win in there. I actually missed that race, to be honest. But you ride all styles. I'm curious, though. You've won on the front end with horses like Songbird. And you've also won from far out of it. Of course, the first horse that comes to mind with that is Zenyatta. Do you have a preferred way in which you win? I mean, it's fun to win, period. I know, but do you like to catch them, or do you like to have them try to catch you?
You know, they're fun to win both ways. I think it's funner to catch them because you're the one that's catching them right, and when you're in front, you're just praying you hold on. So I think it's more nerve-wracking being in front when you're coming from off of it. As long as you're getting the trip you need, that might be a little funner, but they're all just amazing. And some of the ones that are on the lead, like Inside Information, for example, just ran so brilliant. You knew that there was no way no one was going to catch you because she just had such turn of foot. You know, after setting those fast fractions. To kick on like she did, you just knew that no one was going to catch you.
Well, how often do you get to watch any of those races back? Were there any in that montage that you haven't seen in years?
Oh yeah, there was quite a few of them I hadn't seen in a long time. I normally don't go back and watch too many of them. It's fun to watch. Yeah, it's fun to go back and watch those if I feel like I'm in a slump or something. I'll that's when I'll kind of go back and watch those and see if I'm doing something different today than I was doing back then. So I do, I pick up on little things that I was doing back then that worked, and it sometimes you forget. You got to remember a lot of these athletes have coaches. Jockeys are the only ones that don't really have a coach, so you have to coach yourself and go back and look at some early footage or video. And sometimes you'll see little things that used to really work for you that you're not using now for some odd reason, and so it is kind of good to go back. I saw several things just watching those. I was like,
tell us. Wait, or do we have to keep the secret in the toolkit?
Yeah, that's kind of a secret.
Oh, okay. But it is really cool. I see, you're winning up the rail, you're winning from the outside. Nobody saw you coming, like with Drosselmeyer. There were so many of those races where you're wondering, is he going to get there in time? I got chills watching the Breeders' Cup Classic with Arrogate back.
That was actually a really, really fun race to ride because I just thought, California Chrome's going to be so difficult to beat that I had to get a jump on him somehow, some way. And I just kind of, if you watch the blimp view, there's a cool view from up above. I kept trying to hide behind whoever I could so that Victor couldn't see me. So maybe I could get a big run at him. But to be honest with you, both horses, they came home that last quarter of a mile. It was incredible.
Yeah.
And it took a horse like Arrogate to run California Chrome down because he was really good at that point at that time. And it took just a horse that's just so far above average to run him down, and that's who Arrogate was, man. When he ran his A+ race, man, he was just a machine.
I know. I had Bob on recently, and he still marvels at that Dubai World Cup.
I mean, it was phenomenal for to get shut off as bad as he did leaving the gate, and to be somewhere he had never been before, way out the back when he's always been close up front, having to take all the kickback, and then to run the way he ran. And then he runs down a horse like, Gunrunner, who after that never got beat again. Was pretty incredible. He was just horses like him, and then I've been blessed to have ridden a few others that they're once in a lifetimes, and I've seemed to have had, I'm like a cat, I guess. I've been blessed to have had several lifetimes with horses that him and Zenyatta and Holy Bull and Lure and Unbridled Song. I mean, it's just, the list goes on and on. And
do you think?
Very blessed.
Oh, amen. And while you have ridden some of the all-time greats, a lot of these horses who, have made history, do you still feel like you get asked about Zenyatta most because she's still the only female to have beat the boys? And
I would think so. And she was just
in the classic,
more than just a talented racehorse, right? I mean, it's hard to explain, but you had to have seen it to understand it. She was an entertainer. It was a whole show that she did. It wasn't just the win, you know, that she.
It was, it was a
all
Spanish
the
walk.
pre-race,
It was
yeah, all the stuff she would do before, and how she would just stand up at 17-2 and just tower over them, and just literally would look over the top of them like they weren't even there. I think she was just so intimidating. I really think that she won most of her races just in the paddock. She just had them all intimidated. She really was. She was just a beast.
Was it scary at all? I mean, gosh, I hate to say scary to somebody who is you're a Hall of Famer. So you've been on countless numbers of horses.
When you're part of the team, it's not so scary, because I was the guy that got to be on her.
I just mean being so high up. I'm just talking about the height and going at speed, and you're on this dinosaur.
You know, she didn't move like a big horse.
Yeah.
As big as she was so agile. She was so athletic. She can move from side to side. I don't know, watch that about the 8th pole in the Breeders' Cup Classic when she beat the boy. She's running full speed and just steps sideways like it's nothing at 17-2, and then it accelerates again and goes forward and runs Giovanni down, who was a great horse.
Yeah.
Man. And so she was quite an athlete, man. She was the whole package.
For sure. And it is interesting because I think David Gordo recently said that as great as she was in all of those races, you know, she was really best on dirt.
Yeah, I mean, go back and look at her apple blossoms on dirt. When she got to run on dirt, she actually could get a hold of it. And that's when you would see her draw away and win by, like, you know, beating horses like Ginger Punch and some of the other horses she beat, Historical Lady in the apple blossom. I mean, she drew away, would win by 5, 6, 7, 8, and could have won by even more. Whereas on synthetic, she made it a lot closer than what it needed to be. I just think because she didn't really care for it all that much. But the dirt was definitely her favorite, although she only got to run on it a few times. But yeah, it was her favorite.
But do you have a race that stands out to you, apart from anything Zenyatta connected? Because obviously, I mean, we all love Zenyatta and we all know how special she is to you. But given all these other great horses you've ridden, is there a race in particular that stands out to you as your masterpiece?
Well, as far as Breeders' Cups are concerned,
any race.
Well, it's since we're on Breeders' Cup, I think, you know, Arrogate's race against California Chrome was pretty cool. I thought I did a really, really good job there, and probably when I won the Classic on Drosselmeyer too, and Churchill, I rode a very good race that day. I don't know, the Kentucky Derby, I guess, on Giacomo. was pretty cool. I guess because I had no pressure. I guess maybe.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the thing. Well, except for Ken Rudolph, he had action on you.
Yeah, well, I turned him on to that horse early on in his career. I said, "You wait till we get out of California," and because the tracks were so fast and he came from so far out of it, I said, "He's gonna love Churchill. You watch." And so I had him pumped up about it, and of course he played it and he did really good. I think he put his kids through college on that one.
I love it. Well, I mean, when you look back, though, as I said, you were inducted in the Hall of Fame in 2003. Could you have imagined at that point that you still had not only all of these championship races ahead, but you were going to become a Triple Crown champion jockey?
That's a whole other story. That's the holy grail when you can win any of the classics, right? The Derby, the Preakness, or the Belmont is amazing, but it really is something different when you're blessed enough to win all three. It's just somewhere else, you know, and it's pretty incredible.
And you broke the curse of Apollo with Justify. Oh,
it took. He's showing now like how good this horse really was. I mean, I would love to have seen him run as a 4-year-old because he was just a man amongst boys every time he stepped out there. He was just that good. And he's showing it now in his breeding. A lot of his offspring are just running just like crazy. It's pretty amazing to watch. You know, all of his offspring, what they're capable of doing, not only on dirt but on turf as well. It takes a horse that's just from a different time.
Yeah,
a different place to win the Triple Crown. It really is hard to do.
No, it's there's a reason why that it took 37 years till Pharaoh and then Arrogate or excuse me, Justify, to come along and get it done as well. I mean, when you look back on his career, as short as it was, I mean, this is a horse who gave it all in every race.
Yeah, I mean he had to, right? Because his style too. It's tough to win on the lead or be part of the pace factor in those kind of races because you go fast early and then you go fast in the middle of the race. You got to get a breather at some point, and then you gotta go fast at the end. And he was able to do that. He had so much stamina. Not only was he just a incredible, talented horse, but the stamina that he had was just sick, man. It was in the Belmont, he went a mile and a half, and we could have went another quarter of a mile, and they weren't going to get through him.
It was interesting too because he just looks like a really big, he's a big horse, but he's shorter coupled than what you like, an American Pharaoh, for example, and he just had this ability.
If you was to stand them side by side together, Justify that. I mean, they're stable side by side together. I saw a picture of them not so long ago where they stood them neck close to each other, and it's amazing how much taller and bigger Justify was. He's a big horse. His IQ was really high too. I always thought that played a big part of it. He listened to you and he focused. He had a really high IQ. He was a smart horse.
I mean, you would say that about Zenyatta as well, I'm sure. She seemed to know.
She could be a little more feisty, and she had a lot of play to her and this and that. And she was more of a movie star. He was more of a kind of a Harvard graduate.
Oh, yeah, it's very refined.
He was just a star and a half, man.
Oh, I love it. And I love that you got to get that Triple Crown. There's only been, he became the 13th. So to have so few horses be able to do it, I mean, it's hard enough for the horse. It's hard enough for the stable to make sure the horse is ready to contend in all three legs of the crown. But for the jockey, once you've won the Derby, okay, I'm sure there's the pressure for the Preakness because you want to, keep that momentum moving. But once you'd done that and you knew that you had the Belmont ahead of you and you could make history, what was that like for you?
Well, it could have been extremely nerve-wracking, right? I mean, it's like you say, look, going in, I knew this was the kind of horse that if they could win the Triple Crown. Everyone just kind of knew that going in on talent alone. He was really that talented. Then you win the Derby, and he had to run fast early, and he had to run fast all the way around there, and so the Preakness was really the most nerve-wracking out of the three because
really the weather.
Felt like I needed. Well, not only the weather, I just needed to leave something in the tank and not give him such a hard race again. He needed some kind of a breather or a break, and I was able to win it, and maybe made it a little closer than what I probably. It was a little too close for comfort, but we did it right. We pulled it off, and I felt that I didn't have to use all of them, and I thought, well, man. If one of the racetracks is really going to suit him, it's going to be Belmont because he's so big and had such a big stride. And I just thought that track would suit him. And just being in the game as long as I've been in the game and getting the opportunity to watch several other people try and win the Triple Crown or win it, you got to learn a lot and you got to see a lot. So I was bound and determined not to let the pressure get to me. That was going to be the last thing that got to me was that. I had said a prayer about it and was going to really enjoy it. And honestly, I did. If you go, there's some video of me walking into the gate for the Belmont for the last leg of the Triple Crown to win it. And I got a smile from here to here. I mean, you already thought I had to wipe it off my face half the time, even down the backside around the turn. I said, it ain't over yet, man. Stop smiling. I mean, I felt that good about it. And I was that happy about it. And of course, Justify, I was on a horse like Justify, and that makes you feel that way.
Oh gosh, I love hearing that too because, you know, not to make everything too personal or whatnot, but I know you're a man of faith. I'm a gal of faith, and my dad was in town with my mother because Ava was going to be making her arrival, my daughter. And so we were watching the Belmont at the house, and my dad saw you give thanks to God, and he said, "I'm so happy for him.
Yeah.
What a good man he is."
Well, thank you. It's always, 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 always all the praise, all the glory goes to my Lord and Savior.
That's how I feel too. And my dad, actually, that's the last major race we got to watch together. So that's another reason why it was special.
Okay.
But I know remember at EquestriaCon because you were there with the team, and I remember getting to interview you about that and how cool it was because again, you are somebody who's so humble. So it's extra cool to celebrate a history making triumph like that with somebody who's worked so hard for so long and has been such a humble person, you know, even though you've reached the heights of this sport. I mean, you've won here domestically the biggest races, you've won big races overseas. Is there anything that stands out to you as an indelible memory that we might not think is one for you?
Well, just still being here, still doing it at a level that I'm blessed to be doing it at. Although listen, I mean, we all know Father Time. No one beats him, and it has a way of eventually things gotta come to an end. But then I don't ride near as many as I used to, or win as many big races as I used to. But I'm still really good, and I feel really good. And given the opportunity, I'm still winning those kind of races, and so that just in itself, I think, is pretty cool.
And the fandom,
if I did anything right early on, it was just stay working out, fitness, and surrounding myself around the right people and right horses, and staying in good shape, and
no, it's a whole
me,
legend.
just humble and being, just and God will just keep giving you wonderful blessings.
I believe that.
Might have to wait here and there now, but it's okay, man. I've had a wonderful time.
Yeah, it's not our time, right?
It's his.
Yeah. Yes. The fandom is still going strong as ever. Brian says, Mike, yo. Nancy is saying, one of the best. Love to see it. Go, Mike Smith. Such a pro. Now, I don't speak Spanish, but I think I can make this out. Saludos cordiales a toda la familia Hippico del Mundo. So, salute to you from your racing family.
Yeah.
All right. Really and then we've got another one from Luis here. I see our names. He's in tuning
Venezuela.
in from Venezuela.
Yeah. Big Venezuela's big horse racing.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many great jockeys that have come out of
Junior.
Venezuela. Yeah, a lot of them, Junior and
let me ask your. Oh yeah, for sure. It was funny too because I saw them by the food truck. I was at Kentucky Downs and I was heading back to the hotel, and I saw all the guys hanging by the food truck.
Yeah, they're big racing in Venezuela.
Oh yeah, so I ask your opinion about that before we move on, because I want to talk about the filly you just captured another grade 1 with. But before we do that, so regarding the Kentucky Derby this year, Junior won, and you were going to be riding Rodriguez, but he had a scratch, right? So what did you make of the Derby? What do you think of the handy, or what do you think of the 3-year-old division? What do you think about the older horses as we're looking at the Classic?
Oh, I think it's a wonderful 3-year-old division this year, early on. Man, I mean, Sovereignty is just a beast. He's one of those once in a lifetime kind of horses, man. He just really is, and he's just fun to look at as well. He's just probably one of the prettiest things you ever seen. Just all black, and he just looks so regal. And he runs that way. He's just incredible, and it's amazing what that extra 1/8 of a mile does for him. He separates himself from the rest of the 3-year-olds. I think you've seen some of his earlier races at 1.16 and a 1.8 where they've, he's even been beat in the Florida Derby going, I think that was 1.125 miles, but it's crazy how that extra eighth of a mile separates the really, really, really good ones, and he's got that, man. He hits that 1.125 marker, man. He just hits another. It's like his stride just opens up again, and no one else can do that. And your type of journalism is what look at him. If he'd have come around at another time, and he just
I know.
And just the whole group of 3-year-olds have been really, really good this year. But it's going to be interesting in the classic, because now these 3-year-olds are going to have to step it up, right, and run against older horses. And we got a good group of older horses. I mean, look at Fierceness. Just when he runs his A race, man, listen, that horse does crazy things. He don't always do it. We know that, right? I mean, he showed it in his. But when he does, man, what a horse, man.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, he's got.
When he ducked in during the Pacific Classic, not long out of the gate. Oh man! But Johnny just put him right back to task.
Oh, put him back in a good spot, and he settled in behind him, and that turn of foot he had going into the turn to split horses and take on off was just incredible. So it's the Breeders' Cup Classic going to be a wonderful race to watch this year.
It's going to be lit. Do you have any tips for how to play Breeders' Cup at Del Mar? Anything that we should know for sure? I know Bob actually told me he does not like the inside going 6 furlongs on the dirt there in particular. But what other key insights might you have?
Listen, when horses run good over Del Mar in the past, so if they run like Fierceness, when they run good over the racetrack, they tend to come back and run really well. They tend to always do good. So if you've gotten in the past performance where a horse has performed well here already, that means a lot. Because when they like it here, man, they really like it here. It's kind of like Saratoga. When you get some horses that go up to Saratoga, they'd be just ordinary during the year, but that summer, that up at Saratoga, for some reason, 4-stall All-Star. You remember that horse, for example?
Yeah.
I mean, he was always a good horse, but man, he went to another level during that time of year for whatever reason up at Saratoga. And it's kind of the same here. When a horse likes it here, they tend to always like it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Fierceness had run second in last year's Classic, and that was after
that was a winning race. So
because that horse in front.
How fast they ran.
Oh, I think it was Dermo Sotogake. I think that was the horse who did it. Yeah. He went like a sub 45 half.
It was crazy, and he was part of that fast pacing. He was the only one that hung around at the end. So I already knew he liked the track, but I got to admit, when he ducked in, I thought it was over for him. But for him to come back and run like he did was phenomenal. I think he's not without a big chance to run big again in the Classic.
No, I know it's going to be very exciting, but let's talk about, help me out here, because I looked and I could find nothing to give me a concrete number, but I am of the belief that you are the top, of the leaderboard as it comes to Grade 1 wins over the course of your career.
I think I was. I think Johnny has passed me.
Johnny passed you.
Yeah,
see, I can't find it. I cannot find a concrete number between the two people.
We're close to. I think we're both closer to 300 Grade 1s than not. I think we're both pretty close to it, especially with the weekend he had a couple of weeks ago where he won like 3 of them in a couple of days. Right. So I think he's just gotten past me. But again, we're both blessed.
Yeah. No, well, I love that you support each other. And I know you guys both obviously do a lot of work with the PDJF and for the Jockeys Guild itself.
We're very, very close. More like brothers than friends, to be honest with you.
Oh, see, I love hearing that. But you did pick up another Grade 1 this weekend in the Del Mar Debutante. I have the replay here of you winning aboard Bottle, not Battle, but Bottle of Rouge.
Bottle of Rouge. Yeah.
Yes, let me grab that.
Baffert's filly, and
I know.
I'd run in, and I was in the gym a few weeks back, and Jill says, I'm going to get you on my filly because there's going to be 3 of them. And Juan had just broken her maiden, but he's going to ride. What's her name? And I'm going to tell Bob I want you on her. I said, well, you tell Bob. And so she got me on her own filly, and look what happened. We pulled it off.
I know, as the other.
This filly ran a really good race.
Yeah, she did. I couldn't believe
Yeah,
it.
and I think the two turns should be really good for her.
That's the thing too. I mean, obviously she's got the pedigree for the 2 turns. But yeah, it was the other Baffert, because everybody was thinking, well, the 1 can get an easy lead, possibly wire. JJ, who had ridden all 3 of the fillies, was aboard her, Explora. And then there were others who were like, well, Hamika won the Sorrento. She's got more seasoning, more underbelly. And your filly just was like, no, it's going to be me.
I think she's just really starting to get good at the right time. I was like, again, I was the right place at the right time. Surround yourself around the right people, and then you'll get a filly like this who's just starting to come into herself. I think she was just a little behind these other fillies early on in the year, and now she's catching up leaps and bounds. And I think the further they go, the better she should be.
Yeah, and I think it's really cool also because, just this relationship you've had with Bob and Jill over the years. I mean, we've already talked about, from winning the Triple Crown to Arrogate, and before then, even Vindication. Do you, I mean, is it extra special, the fact that Jill actually owns this filly?
Oh yeah, it was great. This is all hers, and she was the underdog, and she believed in her so much. She really did. Like she told me even in the paddock, she goes, "Look, I know I'm up against it, and I know this is a tough race, but just ride her like she's yours. Just pretend she's yours." I said, "Okay, Jill, don't worry. I'm gonna give her my best, man. We're gonna have fun out there together. But most importantly, and then we'll see what that does for us." And look, I got her out of there. I got happy. I wasn't worried about being part of the pace up front, and I got her in a good, comfortable rhythm. And there went my dog by. And she got happy, and she ran happy, and she ran great.
And by a Breeders' Cup Classic winner in Vino Rosso, and then I have a Blue Cross cat mare. So yeah, I think she's going to be very happy to go 2 turns. And she's already, as you said, horses that like the surface. She's got that win there, in a grade 1. So that's always nice. And you've won the Del Mar Debutante 4 times, and 2 of the fillies you won aboard went on to win the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, talking about Stardom Bound in 2008 and Songbird in 2015. So it's a great prep race. At what point did you know you had it won, and how did that feel?
Around the turn, I was really not. I wouldn't say the word is surprised. I was just extremely happy by the way she was moving, and I hadn't even asked her yet. She's catching them without me even asking her. So I thought at that point, just depending on what Juan's filly did on the lead, if she just took off again once I got to her, and he couldn't leave me, I knew I had more left in the tank, and like I said, not only did she do it, but at the wire, she kind of seemed to be well within herself and recovered from the race really good. That's when you can kind of see when the race is over sometimes, Ren. You could tell if they're just done or if they're just spent. I mean, they just kind of hang their head. And man, she recovered so quick and came back so happy. That's a good sign. That usually means that there was more left there, and they can certainly go further.
Oh, and when I say how it feels, obviously it feels amazing. I always, that cliche, how does it feel? Of course it feels awesome to win a race like that. But what I mean is, what's going through your head that you're going to be heading into the winner's circle, and you're going to be able to, tell Jill, hey, we did it.
I could just, first I stood up, and I could just see her in my head. I bet Jill's going crazy right now.
And it's so great because I know she stayed behind there at Del Mar. We've got the September yearling
still going. She wanted to watch her girl there and support her and be part of it, and it all paid off.
We see the puppy.
Yeah, that's Bella. She was named after Unique Bella.
Oh my gosh! I had I had one of the strangest but coolest dreams I ever had that I still remember was I dreamt that I was working Unique Bella out. I don't know why.
Well, I'll tell you, if you were, you went really fast.
It's a strange thing. It's a strange thing to dream about, but I
She
did.
was really fast.
Oh my gosh,
And I was riding her at the time that I got Bella, that my dog, and she's gray as well, and so I
Yeah.
just named her after Bella.
That's perfect. Do you still dream about certain races? Wake up and go, oh, I'm in my bed.
Usually the ones that I dream about are the ones I got beat in. I'm trying to figure out how to win them.
Oh my
If I could have done something different most of the time. I don't hardly dream about the ones I win. Usually
Oh,
it's a nightmare about the ones I got beaten, and I'm trying to figure out how to win it again.
no, I think Angel Cordero talked so regarding, along these lines regarding Seattle Slew in the Jockey Club Gold Cup.
Did he win? Didn't he win that?
No, it came
he got
so
beat?
close. He had all those, yeah, like he had the gate issues with Slew, and then
That was yeah.
then he lost the iron, and then he was fighting back against Exceller, and he just couldn't.
Yeah, one of the, sometimes that just ain't meant to be, man. It's
No, I
crazy.
know. Now
You
I know
ride
you.
thousands and thousands of races, and you've never lost on iron, and you have to lose one on that occasion.
And I didn't even know that part of the story
I didn't either. You
before.
couldn't have told it because you couldn't see it because that's how good he was. He could lose an iron and still look better than all of us.
Yeah, but it's incredible too, because that race was already so impressive in defeat that to know that there was that element to it as well, it blows your mind.
Things you really can't even see. There's things that he probably felt that he might have could have done a difference. But just from the visual eye, just watching it, you would have never seen none of that. I thought he rode brilliantly.
Now I know you've got a place to be, so I don't want to keep you much longer. How many minutes do you have before you got to bounce?
I got about 5 more.
Okay, well, then let's do it. If anybody out there's got a question for Mike Smith, Hall of Famer Mike Smith, go ahead and pop it up now. Katie is saying it was great seeing win on Saturday for Jill and Bob, Mike. For you, yeah.
No, it really was. It'd been a bit of a slow meet, and I really wanted to have something great happen before it was over. So that really just saved my whole meet, man. It was pretty incredible. And it was good to see. It was just good to see Jill's reaction. It was amazing. It was special.
Yeah. Did you guys get to go celebrate afterwards?
Not yet, but we will. We will. We had the next day was a closing day, and I haven't got a chance to see him, but we'll have a dinner and certainly do some celebrating.
Very nice. Billy is saying salute. Hi, Billy. Thank you for tuning in. Obviously, I know you've got that great relationship with Jeff Ruby, who's awesome, and I highly recommend. Yes. His restaurant.
Not only is it a great, that's what I try to. People would tell me, well, what's so great about it? The difference between any other great steakhouse, and there's a lot of great steakhouses, but the Jeff Ruby experience is you have to experience it to understand it. It's a special place every time you go to any of his locations, and then they're amazing. It's something that you'll remember every time I've gone there. There's always something that's just blown my mind. It's so incredible. It's a pretty neat place to go.
No, it's definitely
amazing.
Oh yeah, and it's definitely our special occasion spot. Everybody, the entire team from front to back of house is so amazing. Professional, on point. They want to make sure that you are getting the experience that you're paying for.
I totally agree.
So before we wrap this up, what do you anticipate is going to be the next steps for Bottle of Rouge? I would assume you get to keep her.
I certainly hope so. I'll get together with my owner and we'll map out a game plan and we'll see. But I'm sure she'll run in the next prep, maybe coming up at Santa Anita. Which leads right into the Breeders' Cup. But from what I hear, she came out of the race really well. She's doing well. So as long as she continues to do that, I'm excited about her.
Are there any other horses you're excited about that we should know?
She could add something to my Breeders' Cup. But going in right now, she's the only one I got going in right now. So we got to make it count and hopefully pick up a few more as this next month comes along. Although it's very close to the Breeders' Cup, believe it or not, you have time to pick up different kind of horses, and we'll see. what comes available, what comes open, and go from there. But she's a filly with a legitimate chance to pull it off. So I'm excited about that.
And it only takes one.
All it takes is one, and just one. It's amazing what one horse can do for a whole group, man. One horse could take you around the world again and again, man. Just one horse. It's pretty amazing.
It truly is. And I need to ask, are you going to be coming out here to Kentucky anytime soon, whether it's just to go have a nice dinner at Jeffrey's?
I certainly hope so, man. I love getting the opportunity to go into Kentucky anytime I get a chance to. So we'll see. I hope so. I hope I have something to ride there, and I feel like right now, I feel really good. I feel great. I feel like I'm riding really well. I just gotta try and open up a few more doors and get a few more opportunities, and I'm not without a chance to finish out the rest of the year pretty strong. Again, I got a few horses coming off the shelf as well that are talented, and we just everything's gotta kind of come together. But in God's time, it will.
Amen. See, I love that. You got to keep the faith.
Oh yeah, just keep working at it, man. Just keep doing what you're supposed to do, and it'll come.
All right. Because of all the technical difficulties I had early on, first of all, I want to apologize for those again. And secondly, because of that, I get kind of discombobulated trying to figure out, okay, is everything working? So there's a chance that I might have missed something that I will look silly for not having brought up. Was there anything I didn't bring up that you're like, hey, Ren, what's wrong? We got to talk about this.
Listen, everything is wonderful going back and reliving some of those great victories and wonderful memories with a lot of the great horses that I was blessed to ride. And then to talk about, Bottle of Rouge, I think we covered it all, man. And at 59, we're still going strong, man, and we're still having fun. And I'm just glad to still be a part of the game.
It's crazy. 59. You're only as old as you feel.
Well,
so you're still in your 20s.
Sometimes, yeah. Depends what mornings you wake up. Sometimes you wake up a little sore than others, but today we woke up on a good day.
Well, I love it, and I am so appreciative always of your time. You're one of the kindest people I've ever had the opportunity to interview. I mean, to reach the level you have in your career is already insane. So at this point, it's just, throwing more cherries on that cake. But I'm always rooting for you.
Well, thank you so much, and it was great to spend some time with you.
Oh, same. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Also, Mike Smith, Hall of Famer, on the track and off the track. I hope you enjoyed this edition of the Future Stars Forecast on a 2-year-old Tuesday, and we'll be looking forward to more from Bottle of Rouge.